Hello, hello, happy Friday, Sratan Petak. I am Sarah of Expat in Croatia, and this is 5 Question Friday. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Croatia time, answer 5 questions from people who have sent them in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, expatinCroatia.com, email, our consulting sessions, and people who print them on a menu. So, hi, I am at a park in the neighborhood called Gripe here in Split. This is a really lovely park. I'm just gonna pick you up and show you real quick. But it's got lots of pine trees and it's nice and quiet, and it just sits in the middle of this neighborhood, and there's a dog section there. But I've been coming to this park, I don't know, I guess 10 years since I lived in this part of Split, and I really like it. And there was, for a while, I was going to an exercise class that had a studio on the other side of the park, so I got to walk through this every day, and it's really nice. So, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, did you catch the match last night? Ooh, was that fun? Yay! So if you do not know what I'm talking about, last night Croatia's national team played a match against France, and they stomped them. And it was grand. What else? Oh yeah, let me just quickly tell you the reason I was not here last week. I was not here last week because Cam and I, we got an unexpected opportunity to apply for a grant for a project that we've been thinking about for a while. It just came up out of the blue from the Ministry of Demography and Immigration. And it was like the grant was just sent to us from above. And so we stopped everything for like 3 weeks to work on this grant. We delivered it this past Monday, and last Friday I had to get on a call at 5 o'clock to make a presentation to an organization that we were asking to support, asking people who were asking to support us on this project. Yeah, that's how you grammatically say that in English. So I couldn't be here, and that's why. I can't tell you about the project just yet, but if we do get approved for it, oof, it's gonna be a doozy. I really hope that we can. What else do I have to tell you today? Thomas Gill, how can you get residence? Oh, I mean, that's a loaded question. It depends on your nationality, depends on your situation, what your goals are. There's a lot of different factors. So what I would do is start by going to expatinCroatia.com. There we have 1 million guides. That's an exaggeration, but lots and lots of guides on how to obtain residence from every angle. And if you need help, one-on-one to help, you can also contact us and we can help you. So you can send us a DM. All right. What else? Big news. The Law on Foreigners changes were finally published last Friday, I believe, and they went into effect on March 15th. So all those changes that we've been waiting on for a year are here now. And we published this past Monday, we published a pretty detailed and thorough summary of all the changes that have happened. And there are a lot of changes. So if you missed that article and you are for some reason not subscribed to our newsletter where we notified everybody about this, send us a DM. You'll get that. I also, for the YouTube people, put a link to that down below in the description, so you can find it there. Everyone else make a comment if you want us to send that over to you. But they're quite extensive. And we're going to have some other videos coming out. They're going to kind of explain some of the different changes, and we're just going to kind of pepper that out over time. So keep a lookout for that. I unexpectedly found myself in the middle of the Split Flower Show yesterday. That always happens to me. I always end up in Split's town city center. My brain is broken today. I cannot get words out. Bear with me. Anyways, I love the Split Flower Show. It is gorgeous. It is such a lovely thing to witness. It's no festival of lights in Zagreb, but it's nice. So if you happen to be in the Split area, the Split Flower Show is running until the end of the month. And tomorrow, I'm going down the coast with a couple of friends to the Stone Oyster Festival, which I have wanted to go to the Stone Oyster Festival for years and years and years. And every March it's just like, oh, I can't go. This year I'm going. I can't wait. So I'll definitely be sharing stuff from that. So stay tuned. And then next week am I here with you? Oh yeah. Next week I'm here with you, but I'm not here with you. The next time I see you, I will be in New York filming 5 Question Friday. So, but we'll talk a bit more about that next week. All right. So let's go ahead and dig into it. So our first question comes from Nicholas on the 5 Question Friday forum. I have dual citizenship, but was born and raised in the U.S. I have lived in Split for the past 20 months, but plan on taking a trip to the U.S. to visit family. Will I encounter any problems after being away for so long, or do I need a re-entry form to the U.S.? Okay, so no, there's no practical issue. There's no on paper issue that you would have. Maybe Border Patrol will ask you why you've been gone so long, but you haven't done anything wrong and there are no extra steps that you need to take. Speaking as someone who has lived outside of the United States for 14 years now, I did find that the longer I was gone, the more questions I got from Border Patrol, like, why? Why would you want to live someplace outside America? We think America's perfect. No. So the way that you avoid questions like that is you get global entry. I got global entry about 5 years ago. I'm really happy that I got global entry because then that means I don't have to talk to anybody whenever I come into the United States, as long as it's a global entry airport. Like I fly into DFW or JFK and they have global entry. So it's really inexpensive. You do have to do a fairly invasive interview at one of the qualifying airports as part of the process, and you do have to give them every address you've ever had. But you know, the government's all up in our business now anyway, so I would maybe suggest that. So it's called the Trusted Traveler Program, Global Entry. We do have a link to it. You can DM us for that on Instagram. It's down below in the description for YouTube. Everybody else, you can just drop a comment. We can get that over to you. Okay, next question comes from Kevin on Facebook. How long does it normally take for something to become law, i.e. published in the National Gazette? Now, I'm guessing we got this question because we were waiting so long for the new law on foreigners to be published in Narodne Novine, which is the National Gazette. So whenever Sabor says, hey, we like this law and it's going to be law now, that doesn't make it law. It is not officially enforced until it is published in Narodne Novine. So that's what he's asking. Now, the law on foreigners has been published in Narodne Novine, which I already said at the beginning. So I'm going to just quickly tell you about how the process is, okay? So the Speaker of the Parliament signs laws and other acts adopted by the Parliament and then submits them to the President of the Republic for promulgation. Promulgation is the formal declaration that a new statutory or administrative law is enacted after its final approval. The President promulgates laws by decree within 8 days from the date they are passed by the Croatian Parliament. If the President believes that a law is not in accordance with the Constitution, they may initiate a constitutional review of the law before the Constitutional Court. Before they come into force, laws and other regulations issued by state authorities are published in Narodne Novine, the official gazette of the Republic of Croatia. Acts submitted for publication in Narodne Novine are published in the order in which they are received. Regular issues of Narodne Novine are published as a rule on Wednesdays and Fridays. And for justified reasons, an issue may be published on other days for special extraordinary circumstances. So that is how it works. We do, not surprisingly at all, we do have a guide on how laws are made in Croatia. We also have a guide on Narodne Novine in itself and how it works and what its purpose is, and they also have shops and what you can find there. So if you want any of those things, holla at us, all right? Okay, so our next question comes from someone here on IG. So handle is Love Lily Flower. What a lovely handle. As my grandfather went to Bakar Nautical College, I want to do my basic sailing and motorboat certificates in Croatia. Do you recommend any English-speaking schools in Kvarner Bay to do this? So I can't say this is a recommendation because we do not have experience with them, but we did find 3 schools in Kvarner that do offer sailing certificates and courses in English. Adriatic Sailing Academy, they are in Rijeka. J.K. Kvarner, they are in Rabat. And then Crow Sailing Academy, they are in Pula. So we have all of their information. You know where to find us, and we will get all that stuff to you. YouTube people, the links are down below. All right. Next, this is from Lara on Facebook. Is it okay to visit Croatia while on probation for a misdemeanor? So there are no restrictions to enter Croatia if you have a misdemeanor in another country. However, you need to be sure that you're obeying the terms of probation in your country, or the country where your probation is, because if part of your probation is like you can't leave country, then that could be an issue for you. I do want to just point out that whenever you're applying for residency or citizenship, you do have to provide a background check. And really, they're only looking for felonies, but depending on the misdemeanor, it could be something that they take seriously. So, FYI. All right, our last question. I think this is the last question. Yes, this comes from Ginger on the 5 Question Friday forum. I'm a licensed acupuncturist in Arizona, and I want to relocate permanently to Croatia. My question is if it makes more sense to work remotely while I set up a business, and if so, would that still count towards permanent residence if I'm working online collecting wages from the U.S.? So there are a lot of things to consider here, okay? So first, I want to say, I have to make some certain assumptions about this situation, because if we were like speaking on a consulting call, I would ask more questions to better understand the entire picture, because this is not enough to do that. So that's why I'm having to make some assumptions, all right? So since this person is concerned about permanent residence, this tells me that they likely do not have Croatian heritage and therefore would not have access to the rights of someone who has Croatian heritage. I'm assuming they are a third country national based on the context clues here. So this means that this person, Ginger, would not inherently have the right to work in Croatia, okay? So to work remotely, well, to work on the soil of Croatia, you have to have permission to work. It doesn't matter whether you're working for a Croatian company or you are a self-employed person or you are working for a company abroad. You have to have permission to work on Croatian soil, period. So to work remotely for a business outside of Croatia, you need permission to do that. And the only way you can get permission, or the best way to get permission in this case, would be through the digital nomad permit, okay? So the time on the digital nomad permit does count towards long-term residence, and I want to make a clarification here. In this case, it would not be permanent residence, as Ginger stated. It would be long-term residence. Permanent is for spouses of Croatian citizens, okay? So as far as setting up a business, so first she would need to do digital nomad while she's working remotely. That's first. As far as setting up a business, because she doesn't have the right to work, she will need to meet certain requirements to open up a business here in Croatia. That would be 3 full-time Croatian workers on indefinite contracts. She would have to pay herself 1.5 times the average net salary for directors, and she would also have to invest 27,000 euros in the business. And it's not that those are the requirements to open up the business. Those are the requirements for you to open a business and get residence and permission to work based on that business. Okay? So those are some important considerations. Also, there may be requirements to open up a business for acupuncture. Those are requirements that you definitely should explore. In this person's case, in Ginger's case, I would recommend that they speak to us directly on a consulting session so we could really help them unpack this entire scenario and make a plan for what it is that they want to accomplish, because it's always best that you prepare before you leave your home country, and because you're making decisions based on what you choose to do in Croatia. And if you I've just seen it a lot of times where people are like, I'm going to come to Croatia and I'm going to open up a business, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But they're assuming that what they want to do is possible. without exploring to find out if it's possible. And then they come here, they sell all their stuff, they come and move here, and then they find out that what it is they wanted to do, they can't do it, or they can't do it the way that they wanted to. And that's a really hard pill for people to swallow. And so, this kind of goes for any time you want to move abroad. Doesn't matter whether you're opening a business or not. It's really important that you understand how you're going to get a residence permit to live in that country, and how your work is going to be handled, and taxes. I would say those are the three biggest things that you need to figure out before you move to another country. I mean, as in the second phase, I said healthcare is also pretty darn important, especially if you have some kind of health issue, but those first three things, you gotta before you leave your home country, figure out those things. Because if you don't, you could have a really rude awakening. I hate delivering that message. I hate having to call someone that didn't, do any research, didn't talk to us until after they physically arrived here, and then they find out that they can't do what they want to do, or what they want to do, has really steep requirements that they can't meet, like hiring 3 full-time Croatians for a business, because if you're opening up a business here, if you want to open up a business here that's online, and you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to do web development. Let's say that. And you're the developer. Well, you don't need 3 full-time people, but that would be required for you to do that here legally. So it doesn't make sense for every business. Okay. So I think I've kind of tangented enough on that one. But the main point is really do your due diligence. If you are overwhelmed by all the resources out there, even our site is overwhelming. There's 550 guides on our site. So there's a lot of information there, but it is also speaking kind of generically according to the law. It doesn't take into account every single person's individual circumstances. We did our best to try and show as many scenarios as we can, but ultimately everybody's situation is different. The Croatian government treats everybody's situation differently, and you got to be aware of that. You just can't prepare too much. So if you are feeling unsure, come talk to us. We'd be more than happy to hold your hand through it and walk you through everything, give you everything that you need. I did see that we had one question come up. Oh, maybe two actually. Let me see. Here we go. Thomas Dyer, I'm about to complete my first application with you for my citizenship as Croatian by ancestry. How safe is it for me to make my first payment? Very safe. Very safe. It sounds like you're working with the lawyers that we recommend, and we've been working with them for, I think we added the most recent one probably at least 2 or 3 years ago now. So yeah, we're not going to recommend anybody that we don't trust implicitly. We have a pretty detailed method of vetting professionals that we work with. They have to come in through a recommendation that we trust and know implicitly. We constantly get lawyers and accountants and real estate agents who contact us. They're like, we want to be a part of your network. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. It has to come in through a referral we trust, for starters. And then they have, a meeting with the head of the network, and they meet with me, and we explain to them everything that we would expect, because, lawyers in Croatia don't function the way that we need them to, because foreigners expect something different, and we have a very high standard in our network. And so the experience that you're going to get with someone that we recommend is not going to be the same that you're going to get with anybody else, just period. And anyone who works with the lawyers we recommend, they also get an expat in Croatia caseworker who follows them along their entire path. And then as far as the next step of vetting, then we will send just a client here and there. They're very, as a trial run. And if they if they have any kind of bad experience whatsoever, they don't make it in. So we really kind of taper off, or taper in, I guess. Like I said, my brain's broken today, over a long period of time. So we have an extensive vetting process. So yes, you can make your first payment. If you have any concerns at all, please contact your Expat in Croatia advocate, which is Steve or Lorena, and they can help you. But yeah, there should be no concerns. We trust all of our lawyers. Totally. Okay, let me see. Next one. Pamplinata. I have residence for humanitarian reasons and they've already proven my ancestry, but not with birth certificates. Can I link my citizenship application to the documents of relatives who already obtained? Can I link my citizenship application to the documents of relatives who've already obtained it? Okay, well, in your citizenship application, you're going to be asked who in your family is already a Croatian citizen, so you can do it that way. You can also mention in your CV biography that you have to write which family members have citizenship. So you can do it in both those ways, but it's not, your citizenship application is not going to be contingent on that. I would say, it's definitely going to help, but at the end of the day, they want to make sure that they can connect the lineage. And if those relatives that already obtained it based on the same relative, then yes, that will have an added benefit for sure. I don't know if you're working with a lawyer or not, if you're doing it on your own, but if you were not able to prove it with birth certificates, I would recommend speaking to a lawyer to make sure that you present your case effectively so that you don't run into any problems. And if you need help finding a good one, let us know. Thanks for the question. Okay, do we have anything else down here? Oh, Thomas, you're working with Andre. Awesome. Great. Andre's wonderful. Okay. Oh, hi, Tamara. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to Stone Oyster Festival tomorrow. I'm driving down the Magistrala. Stone is where all the oysters come from in Croatia, and they're super mega tasty, and I have no idea what to expect, but I'm just, other than eating a lot of oysters. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably post some stuff on stories. And then on Wednesday, I am flying to the United States. So I will be in New York for next week's episode with one of the big fans of 5 Question Friday. So that should be really neat. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Oh, hey, Kathy, you just joined right at the end. So that's it. I will post a replay of this. If you're just joining us and you missed all of it, don't worry. There will be a replay in the profile here shortly. Thank you so